Thank you, Ambassador.
Yeah.
India's election has taken place now.
Yes.
As a diplomat and also as a politician from LA, how do you see India's elections?
Well, first of all, what an impressive election. To see a country of 1.4 billion people exercise their right to vote, to see the logistics, the security, the work that was done to ensure the largest democratic election in the world was awesome to see. Second, elections are all about people exercising their fundamental rights. And it was wonderful for us to see that. We are the two largest democracies in the world. And I think we share that these are dynamic moments. We're both in election years. India's is now over. Ours is underway. But to see people being able to express their needs, to have politicians try to put platforms forward to meet those needs is really what makes us different from the rest of the world. So we congratulate Prime Minister Modi, BJP, and the coalition for their successful election. It certainly is a group of leaders that we know well, that we respect well, and we work with incredibly well. So we can't wait to get back to business. But I assure people, even in the midst of an election, the U.S.-India relationship didn't take a pause, didn't miss a beat. We continued that critical work even in the height of the Indian election, as I know it will continue in the height of ours.
In the first week itself, we saw the Prime Minister and President meeting in Italy.
Yes.
How do you see India-US relationship in Modi 3.0?
I think in Modi 3.0, it's a time for us to take our dreams and to really make them reality. I think what we saw in 2.0 was a state visit, the visit of the president during G20, and over 150 agreements reached on everything from the seabed to the stars, whether it's in space, whether it's in health, whether it's in defense, whether it's in trade. We resolved past conflicts and really moved forward with our ambitions in the future. I think 3.0 is all about how do we make the US and India, again, this relationship that can do good not only for our people, but in the world, that can show the world that democracies are better than dictatorships, that a free and open Indo-Pacific is something that is a benefit to every human being. So whether it's the work that we're doing together on our defense partnership, whether it's our critical emerging technologies, or whether it's the work that we're doing to build economic prosperity, I think those three things in Modi 3.0, we can look forward to seeing an ambitious India working with an ambitious America to achieve.
And what is your own personal dream of India-US relationship?
I feel like the luckiest guy on the face of the earth, the best job in the world, in the most exciting intersection of two great nations anywhere on this globe. Personally, I've loved the warmth that Indians have received me with. I love my interactions with my Indian counterparts. But I also think that what I've tried to promote is two things. One is that this is a bigger relationship than just us. That whether we work together in Africa, Pacific Island countries, Southeast Asia, in the multilateral space, in delivering the best G20 ever, that when India and the US are aligned, we're an unstoppable force. But second, this is more than about governments to governments. What I have felt is not just my amazing interactions with Prime Minister, with the Minister of External Affairs and other members of the cabinet. It's been local people in small villages, in remote states, in places off the tourist map, where I really have seen the soul of India alive and breathing and its ambitions. It reminds me of America over 100 years ago, when America was industrializing, when people were coming out of poverty, out of farms and into factories. This is a moment which India, I think, has an optimism that's unmatched in the world, a growth rate unmatched in the world. And I always try to tell my American friends, you need to know India. You will benefit from knowing India, whether it's your soul, whether it's your head, whether it's your pocketbook, whether it's your defense strategy. All of us need to know India better. And I love that this bridge is being strengthened, not just in one direction, but now two directions together.
You recently completed 1 year in India, right? And your video that you made went quite viral.
Yes.
Before you went to India, and now you have been to India, has your impression about India changed?
My fundamental impression of India hasn't changed, which is that it's a diverse democracy full of the most generous, welcoming people anywhere on the face of the earth. That it's a place that is always in a constant state of flux, that is the crossroad of the past and the future together. What has changed is seeing on the ground what's being actually built. When I arrived in India when I was just 14 years old, it was an underdeveloped country that was struggling with infrastructure, could barely get the power there, wasn't connected to the international economy. It was a proud, independent nation, but it wasn't yet prosperous. And what I can see now is that vision of prosperity for everyone. And I see also the empowerment of people who are the most creative, entrepreneurial, and also caring people that I've ever met, who want to help their fellow Indian do better. I also see the breakdown of kind of the insular look of India having to survive on its own. It's now able to project itself into the world, whether it's protecting the oceans, as we've seen in the West Indian Ocean recently against piracy, whether it's in development and health, manufacturing the world's vaccines. Those are the sorts of things that to me inspire me, that the India of tomorrow is different in its capacity, but it fundamentally hasn't changed in its soul.
Yesterday you were at the US Summit, and today you are here at the USTDA, India-US Aviation Summit. How do you see the business sector playing a role in strengthening India-US relations?
You know, it's amazing, this economic moment. We're now India's #1 trading partner. We now have, I think, more investment than ever from the United States into India. But Indians were the #1 delegation at Select USA from any country in the world investing in the United States. And I love that it's a story that has two sides to it now. American jobs and prosperity are being created and preserved by Indian investments, just as American companies come to India to help promote prosperity and create jobs as well. iPhones that are being made now, an American company, Apple, in southern India, or wind turbines that are being made by an Indian steel company in Texas. For me, that's really about two countries recognizing each other as equals, as two great countries, two great democracies. And for me, that is the biggest change, where it's no longer about developed and developing. It's not about north, south. It's not about east, west. It's really about two friends. And that's friends at the leadership level, but also at that business level, where every CEO I know is saying, tell me about India. I know I need to be there. And that's a really exciting moment for Indian people and the future prosperity of the country.
Two small questions,
Sure.
Last two questions. On cricket, right? Where do you see cricket here gaining ground in the US?
Well, I've become a cricket nut, as everybody knows. I love cricket, and I think more and more Americans are learning to love a game that, you know, we played 150 years ago. I can't believe we upset Pakistan. We beat Bangladesh before the World Cup started, and that we came close to beating India. And I say close because as a U.S. ambassador to India, it's the perfect outcome. We came close, but the Indians aren't upset with me that we beat you. And we advanced to the next round. And, you know, when I helped put cricket into the Olympics here in America for 2028, I did that almost as much as a gift to India as it was to the rest of the cricket-loving world, because I know how important it is to the Indian fan, to the Indian soul. Cricket is a religion, as we often say in India. I think it is a great sport that is only just beginning to take off here in America. But given the number of Indians, South Asians, Australians, Kiwis, South Africans, Brits that live in America or are immigrants to America, it already has an amazing base, and I can't wait to see it take off and one day be one of the great sports of America.
I keep on visiting California, San Francisco quite sometimes, few times a year, but not way to LA. When I meet the Indian Americans there, they tell me about the feedback about you, that you have an ambassador as a president in the making.
Well, I always ask people, why would you wish that on a friend? I've got the best job in the world now, and I'm really not looking to the future. One thing India teaches you is to be mindful, is to be there in the present. When you're living through a great moment and a great day, don't think about the future. Don't think about what comes next. Those plans are in somebody else's hands. For me, I just feel like I'm the luckiest guy being able to be the ambassador of my country, an amazing country that has been representative of such hope in the world for so many, and India, which is rising as that next great hope in the world as well.
Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great to be with you.